Yeah, that's right. Welcome in, welcome back, everybody, to an Always Irish After Dark edition. Thanks for being here. Who's calling me? People are calling me on my call-in line. While I got people on this line, I got Pat over here telling my life stories. I don't know how this is going to go. Can you guys hear that beep in my ear or not? Or is that just my phone? Welcome in, everybody. Grab a cold one, crack a lid, have some fun. It's the off season after all. All right, here's the deal. Fridays, I decided we're just going to relax. We're going to talk about Notre Dame in a more casual fashion. I feel like on these Friday night shows, I like the vibe. We didn't have a huge crowd last week, but the people that were here enjoyed it, and so did I. It's just more laid back, okay? Every time Willie B. Hardigan comes in the chat, you know it's going to be a night. You know you're in for a good night when Willie B. Hardigan shows up. So thanks for being here, Willie. But seriously, these are more casual, and I want to get into some nuanced stuff here and kind of feel it out with you guys. This particular show, we could take a bunch of different directions. We could do whatever you want. I have some bullet points I want to go over. So let's do the introductions, roll call. We have some very generous viewers, and we got to cover that. And then maybe we'll get to the calls. I see a few people on the line, and I know it's going to be trouble just from the names. All the names, I see all the numbers. I've got them in my mind now. It's going to be trouble. So if you haven't yet, do it, subscribe. I appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. If you're sitting there and you're drinking a beer, you're doing it, hit the thumbs up. It helps in the algorithm. YouTube goes, oh, people like this idiot. Shoot him out to more people. I appreciate it, okay? Notifications on. You know why. That way you'll be alerted every time a new episode drops. You don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want me. You could get me. 312-988-15. You call Johnny up and tell him what you heard and seen. That's what we're doing. Fighting Irish Wire. Tune in every day. Google. I know you're on the internets every day. I know you all are. Go over, type in Irish Wire, and then look up John, and then go, What? John can write in complete sentences? I just thought he was yelling a lot in his basement. Well, that's what I normally do, but I could also write a little bit. So let's get into the roll call, and then we're going to get into a couple of my topics briefly, and then I'll go to some calls maybe. This is risky. It's looking risky. All right. Roll call. Steven's usually a morning guy. Good to see you here. Fearless leader, John. That's a lot of responsibility. But I'm going to tell you what. John Kennedy's up for it. I mean, it's John Kennedy. I'll take it. I'll bear that responsibility. I appreciate that. Oh, Nick Dean. Nick Dean, you're the man. I appreciate you so much. What is this? Let me see this. Nick Dean, check this out. $20 holler for Nick Dean. And he says, I just like your program, John. You have no idea how much that means. Matt Miller's over here. Matt Miller did two things. One is my man's rolling in the dough in his day job. Or number two, he hit the lottery and decided to kick a couple shillings Always Irish way. Matt, means the world to me, man. The phone lines aren't free, baby. That 312 number isn't free. It all adds up. It means the world to me. I really appreciate it. So thank you very much. So we got Nick here. Appreciate that. Nick, Matt Miller, always here. Nick, it's beautiful. These guys are always here supporting. Patrick says, I have some really great stories about Always Irish. Anybody want to hear them? Oh, yeah. Pat, I ain't taking your call. Because you're going to get us all in trouble, Pat. You're going to bring up stuff from when I was half my age I am now and all the stuff I used to do. And that's dangerous. Oh, look at him talking about ex-girlfriends, 21st birthday, trip to Mexico. He's got some wonderful events to expose me on. Look at this. Mikey Pulls. John, good evening. On my way home from the gym from pulling some weight, easy 683-pound deadlift. You realize that's like 6 of me, baby. Wow, that is impressive, Mikey. Impressive. Keep me updated. Oh, man. Unbelievable. Angela, it's always good to have a Rudiger here. The problem is, here's what worries me is Pat knows Angela Rudiger, and we were all in the same circle. I'm having some existential Friday night flashbacks between me and Pat and Rudy about 15 years ago. It's kind of freaking me out. We had a lot of long Friday nights together. A lot of long Friday nights. Steven, what you got? Got some Four Roses single barrel. Go Irish. That's what I'm talking about, Steven. Sip it down. Craig, you're the man, Craig. Craig, here's the deal with Craig. Craig's my South Bend Connect. Craig's in South Bend. Whenever I have a question about how to navigate something in South Bend, Craig's my guy. He's got the contacts, longtime supporter of the show, and a dear personal friend. Craig, you're the man. I owe you a trip. I got to get to South Bend soon. I usually do in February, and we're going to get over there. Oh, what do we got, Steven? I did get into 3 arguments about Mayer and Bowers. Blame the whiskey. I like that. Keep that going. It's good. Get that fire in you. V1, really good to see you. Another morning guy. Beautiful notifications on. You'll be alerted every time a new episode drops. Check this out, you guys. Look at this guy. Dr. John is a guy that would go all the way to Key West. And on a Friday night in Key West, what's Dr. John doing? Tuning into the Always Irish show. I asked Dr. John Wednesday, Dr. John informed me that he would be traveling to Key West. And I just had one question for him. I wanted to know what color Speedo he packed and, see how it went down there for him. John, I love you. Happy to have you here. Oh, man. Jeez. Here we go. Nice little $4.99. Nice little $5 holler. How's it going? Do you see us going 11-1? Do you think we have a chance to beat Ohio State at home? You know what? The Golden Playbook, like your avatar, by the way, and the name, you're hitting on the first topic on my bullet points, and I'm glad you did. That's literally number 1 on my bullet point is something with that topic. So your $5 holler, you're barking up the right tree, baby. And I like that Golden Playbook name. Stick around. It's beautiful. Oh, let's see. W. Smith, you jumped on live at the same time as the police body camera. Oh, geez. I don't want to compete with that. I don't want to get into that. I wasn't on my radar. A BVG should be the coach of what? I always see this name and then I see that and I just want to go, of what? Of what? There's the Swamp Thing cigars that I can mail you, John. I'll take some cigars. Pat likes the cigars too. Shoot him over. Notre Dame 2164. John, I've been with you since the 2017 Georgia game and the free swag bags. I still got the bumper sticker on my truck. Just want you to know how proud of you I am. I got to tell you, that means a lot to me. Man, you go way back then, dude. That means a lot. Like the people that go that far back with this show, like newer people don't realize this show was in existence many years only as audio only. Like you could get it on iTunes and whatever. And then I realized I'm so animated. It's stupid to not put it on YouTube and then overreact and do all the theatrics and everything I do. But I had that show going for a couple years, audio only, nothing on YouTube. And I made an effort to say, anybody who's jumping on board with me early 2017, whatever, when I was just getting going and wanted to support it, I went ahead and bought a bunch of bumper stickers and koozies and other little stickers. And I just bought a bunch of them and I mailed them to the first big batch of people that like loved the show and wanted to be around. I just mailed it. I got their addresses, put them in packets, mailed them a bunch of stuff to show off, get the word out and show people that I appreciated the support. Going back that far means a big deal to me, man. You've been around a long time. You've been around a long time. Oh, Willie. Willie, he must be hard again. He gave me a 5 spot. Matt is obviously richer than I, but I love the show. Go Irish and always Irish. Listen, Willie, it's all good to me, man. I just appreciate any support. Really helps. It's stupid phone line adds up. I got to start cutting people off. You got to realize there's a charge for the phone line, like per month, just to keep it active. The Chicago 312 phone line. But then I get charged per minute of every call I take. I'm going to have to start cutting some people off. Save some money here. Oh, Kenny, what's up, Kenny? Another morning guy. Good to see you here. Mark with glasses, Big Pippin. Good to see you. Good to see you. What is this? If I had to guess right now, Notre Dame runs the table next year. That's tricky. That's tricky. One is the schedule. You got 3 potential top 5-ish teams on the schedule again. That's tough. That's tough. I say this all the time. Brian Kelly's toughest game his last year was Cincinnati at home, and it was too much for the guy. Couldn't handle it. Couldn't find a way to get that win against mighty power Cincinnati at home. Home against Cincinnati. Couldn't do it. Too much to ask. So it's a tough schedule. It is broken up in a way that's pretty navigatable, but challenging schedule. I have some questions about some depth in certain areas still. I've been on the record with this. I believe Notre Dame's 2, if not 3 full years away from winning what I want them to win. And 2 on the early end, 3 on the deep end. Here's what I'm starting to think, folks. What I'm really starting to think is with the 12-team playoff, Notre Dame not able to get a bye, going to have to win 4 games against top 12 opponents. It could become a war of attrition at that point. Some teams are going to make it and get beat up and not be able to survive that gauntlet against good teams 4 weeks in a row. I need Notre Dame to build up that depth. That 83% blue chip rate is something that needs to be maintained to give us the depth to be able to survive some of that gauntlet. Obviously, we need, look at those phone lines. People want to talk tonight, baby. We're going to get to it right away. Why wait? People want to talk. That 83% blue chip rate is key for this dynamic. You're going to need depth, and you're going to need quality depth if you want to make any decent run whatsoever. You're just going to need it. And so that's a big deal, something I'm thinking about. Oh, boy. All right. Greg, what's up, Greg? I believe Greg is my Arizona guy. Arizona morning caller, always has very good thoughts. Good to see you, Greg, on Twitter as well, I believe. Go look him up. Go look him up. Oh, boy. Craig, yeah, Pat's telling our drunk wiffle ball stories. There's nothing better in college than playing drunk wiffle ball with a keg at second base. Like, that's what we used to do for fun. I know I'm old. I don't know what the young people do, but that's what me and Pat and Angela Rudiger used to do, is just put a keg at second base, play drunk wiffle ball all day. Beautiful. It was fun, man. DE. What's up, DE? I don't feel like I see that name often. Been listening, watch about 4 years now. Though the phone line was genius, but night calls was the greatest. I'm playing around with some ideas next year I think you guys are going to like. I'm thinking about really doing some unique stuff once season gets started. Golden playbook. Look at that. $2 holler. I think Freeman changed the team. He's the guy. Here's my answer to that. I don't know if Freeman's the guy, because I don't know if anybody's the guy the way college football is right now at Notre Dame. But I will say this. If Notre Dame has any chance of making it and surviving and succeeding in the modern playoff era, it's going to be with the guy with Freeman's vibe. Like if Notre Dame has any chance of getting over the hurdle, getting further than Kelly was able to get, winning these playoff games, if anybody right now in this modern dynamic ecosystem that's ever changing and evolving in all these ways, if anybody can navigate Notre Dame to put us in position to do it, it's Marcus. It's Marcus. It's the work ethic, the communication, the genuine demeanor. Everyone wants to work with him. The administration loves him. Like the fans like him. The recruits like him. It's a modernized recruiting pitch around Notre Dame, still maintaining our values, like all that stuff. If anybody has a chance to succeed in the modern era at Notre Dame, it's a guy with Marcus Freeman's personality and the way he does it. Now, is it going to ultimately work and we get over the hump? I don't know. I don't know that. In some ways, I feel like the finish line got harder to cross with NIL and a lot of the stuff that you're dealing with that is largely out of our immediate control. It's harder than ever. But if anybody could do it, it's going to be somebody with Marcus's personality. I always say this. Marcus, I think, has the ability to get more out of his group than you think should be possible. And that is a natural, innate gift. You don't learn it. You don't grow into it. No, those guys are just those guys, and it's in them. Lou was that guy. Lou knew every button to press on everybody to get the most out of them. Everybody. I'm not talking the whole team. Lou knew not only just the whole team. Lou knew every individual button to press on every guy. Lou went to Jerome Bettis, went in front of the whole team after practice and said, this guy isn't pulling his weight. He's a reason we're going to lose the game, lose the next game or whatever. And he ain't good enough. And this guy's not putting in the work. He knew Jerome Bettis was his best player. He was just doing it to get Jerome mad so he'd run Purdue over the next week. Like, Lou knew every button to press. And the ultimate button to press is save Jimmy Johnson's ass for me. It's the ultimate button. It is the ultimate button, the save Jimmy Johnson for me. It's the ultimate. And then the guys are out of their minds and they go out there and there was no way they were going to lose. It just wasn't going to happen after that. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be that dramatic with Marcus, but I already feel like you've seen some of that. When I was at the Clemson game, I felt some of that. Okay. Like it just felt different. It felt different. We're not used to not only beating a top 5 team, but having it not be close. That is pretty new territory for Notre Dame. Now, I know some of you are going to say Clemson was down. They had offensive struggles. Like, they were asking to be beat. Yeah, they were. Clemson was asking to be beat a few weeks before we played them. But for us with 3 losses to be able to actually put it together and do it told me a lot. So I'm very encouraged about that. But there's just a lot of loose ends out here that we can't all control. Look at this. My brother in Florida. Good to see you, Andrew. $20 holler. Yeah. Longtime listener, full-time family member, Andrew. Sorry for you. Longtime listener. Yeah. Long time having to deal with John your entire life as his older brother. Sorry. Andrew, telling you, this is just, it's a lot. We got Andrew in here, Pat and Rudy. This is just a lot. We're having some flashbacks from our early 20s here. Look at this. Look at this. Look who we got. We got Kent Jackson in the house. They don't got Kent no mailroom on a Friday night. By the way, Kent, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I believe the other day I missed it. But did you announce you got a promotion or something? They want you to run more at the post office or something? You're the man, Kent. Congratulations on the promotion. I'm happy for you, buddy. You're the man. I don't like it if it stops you from watching my show in the mornings if you have more to do, but congratulations if you got a promo. Oh, yeah, Craig. Yeah, Craig knows Andrew. We've all met up a bunch of times. Look at this. Kent says, buzz me in, John. We popping bottles. What's your number? What's your number? Tell me your number, Kent. We haven't talked since we yelled at each other before we knew each other. Oh, boy. Here we go. We got a family reunion here, it looks like. Look at this. Pat, $10. Oh, I guess I'll consider taking his call now. How can I not when he donates $10? See, I could justify blocking him for paying customers, but if he donated $10, now I feel obligated. as if Pat hasn't purchased me $6,000 worth of alcohol in our lives. Like, I know that sounds bad, but I'm pretty sure Pat's financed half the liquor I've consumed in my entire existence has been financed by Pat Cotter. For better or worse. I'm not going to answer that, but he's behind a lot of it. Yeah, everybody wants me to take Pat's call. Yeah, only if he says something embarrassing about John, right? Ben Emery, what's going on, man? Good to see you here. It's really good. Look at this. Take my call now. Unbelievable. Oh, boy. 773, you're talking to me. What's going on?
Hold on. I got to put my earbuds in. There's like 9 girls in my house.
That's the way that sounds. I could take that a bunch of different ways, Pat. I was gonna say, cool you got 9 girls in your house, cool, and you're calling me.
They're all under 8 years old.
Well, that just got weird. That just got weird.
Well, I mean, half of them are mine, so like my daughters. So,
Pat, let me ask you a question. I have a question.
Go away, Lucy.
I got a question. If I'm looking, if I'm looking at this schedule, this came up big time this week. If I'm looking at our schedule and I have Ohio State, USC, and Clemson all on the board, and I tell you can only win one of those 3 and no more, which of those one is most important to you in 2023 and why?
It's not even a debate. It's USC. I mean, stupid question, John.
That's what I thought, but a lot of people are saying it's Ohio State for the reason where it is in the schedule. You'd be 4-0. You beat them, you're 5-0, and you're probably a top 5 team. Also, USC doesn't have the recent pedigree.
I can lose 11 games if I beat Ohio State. The season's a success.
You mean USC, right? Yeah.
USC. Yeah. Yeah. USC.
That was Pat. That was my answer. And a lot of people are saying, John, you're missing this. Like USC hasn't proven anything lately. They missed the playoff. Ohio State is a recent title winner. Like, you would be able to get them and then be 5-0, and then that builds your momentum in a playoff push next year. Yeah. I still think the Notre Dame USC thing trumps that, and I need Freeman to get one on this to get leveled. It's my priority. It's my priority.
This kind of, I totally agree, and it kind of leads me into what I was texting about on Wednesday. But hold on, I have to diverge. There's a couple things I need to say because people want it. First thing, Andrew, I love you, buddy. I had to go to Arizona during your wedding. I'm sorry I missed it. I asked John to give me your address so I could send a gift, and he never followed up with me. So, sorry, brother.
Did you really? Come on. Are you making that up to save face, or did I forget?
I texted you, and I said, I'm not going to make it to your brother's wedding. I'm sorry. I'm going to be in Arizona, but give me his address, and I will send a gift. And you never responded back to me. So you're the dick in this scenario.
I'm sorry, Andrew. Now I'm in trouble with Andrew. I did Andrew wrong. Did him minus a gift. Anyways, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Okay. And then everyone wants a story. So I'm trying to think of something good. We got
No. Pat. Pat. The best story? No. I got one, Pat. Tell him the Goldschlager story. That's clean. Tell him the Goldschlager. That's perfect for this. It's perfect for this. Give him that one. Rudy will know it. Andrew will know it. Give it to him. Yeah. All right, guys. We're gonna give you an insight of John's life at 21. Go ahead. Let it rip. Hurry up.
So I'm older than John, so it's his 21st birthday, and we're taking him out to the bar. And we go to this bar, and there's nobody in it, which is perfect. And this bar is the total dive of bars to go into.
This is not the story I was talking about, but whatever. I was just talking about you making me drink
the Goldschlager.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm getting there. I got to set up the backstory. Shut up, you redheaded freak. So we're at the bar, and John is not drunk enough. Like, I'm very disappointed with his consumption level. At this point in the night.
Sounds so technical.
Closing. So we're getting towards closing time, and I'm like, John hasn't puked yet. What the hell is going on? So I went to the bar and I ordered 4 shots of Goldschlager, and I brought it over. I said, "Hey, John, we're all going to do Goldschlager shots with you." And he's looking at it, and John apparently has never seen Goldschlager before, and he's like, "What is this?" what is this? What is in this shot? What am I drinking? What are these flakes? And I said, yeah, John, you never heard of Goldschlager? Now, mind you, John was drunk, but he just wasn't drunk enough. And we're like, we gotta drink these shots, John. I go, you know how they make these shots? They go to the dome and they scrape it off the dome and put it into the booze. This is made at Notre Dame. So I get John to drink all 4 of these shots. He immediately walks into the men's room, pukes into a urinal, and then at that point we had to take him home.
That's it, folks. That's it. That's it. But Pat told me if I didn't drink the Gold Flakes, Notre Dame would never win again.
Oh, I said Notre Dame would lose. They would lose every game.
Every Friday. So then from then on, every Friday night before the Notre Dame game, Pat would say, John, if you don't drink this whole bottle of Goldschlager, we're going to lose. And and then I'm in a position where I got to take one for the team, literally take one for the team. So we had a lot of those Gold Flakes. All right, can we get away from embarrassing John stories and back to football, Pat?
But I have so many. All right, yeah, we can get back to football. No, so this segue. All right, so I was texting you Wednesday after the show because I don't remember the guy's name, and I apologize for that. But he started a very good debate with me, and at the time I was being dismissive, and I didn't want to be that way. But I understood. I understand what he was trying to say, and he was talking about Notre Dame needs to join a conference for the playoff realignment in 2024. And the reason Notre Dame needs to join a conference for 2024 is because if Notre Dame stays independent, they can't be a top 4 team in the rankings, and then therefore they can never get a bye in the first round of the playoffs. So I have a simple question. I want people to comment in the chat. Is who thinks that is an actual? I just kind of want to see from people who actually thinks that's a good idea. Should Notre Dame join a conference for the simple fact that they need to get that first round bye? That's right. Just if anybody agrees with that, agree with it, disagree with it, I just kind of like to see some comments on that. Because I have a take, and the gentleman who was arguing this, his take was Notre Dame needs to join the ACC because, number one, the ACC is weak, and number two, Notre Dame can get that first round bye. So because and he said at the end of the day, it's an easier path.
But wait. So, but my theory is if Notre Dame joins a conference,
you steal my thunder, dude.
No, if Notre Dame joins a conference, first off, it isn't going to be the ACC. If Notre Dame joined full time, they're going to the Big Ten. It isn't going to be the ACC. So I disagree with that. I disagree with that guy right there because if we do this, it's the Big Ten. It ain't going to be the ACC. So right there, I have a disagreement.
So the first thing that is eliminated is the easier path because you're not going to be in the ACC. You're going to be in the Big Ten. And why is Notre Dame going to be in the Big Ten? Because Notre Dame's going to follow USC. So once you join the Big Ten, You don't just have to worry about a powerhouse Clemson. You got to worry about Ohio State. You got to worry about Jim Harbaugh. You got to worry about USC. Now there are more schools you have to get through to actually get to that championship game, to actually get to that first round bye. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is my whole argument for Notre Dame continuing its independence. Nothing has come out, to my understanding, that says USC is not going to continue its relationship with Notre Dame once they join the Big Ten, and that's a big deal to me. I'm a tradition guy. I am a Notre Dame. I'm not a Notre Dame sit down so I can watch the game guy. I am not a Notre Dame. We shouldn't have upgraded the turf. I am not a Notre Dame. We shouldn't have a big screen guy. I think those were advances of technology, and if you go back in the history of Notre Dame, Rockne was that. Rockne wanted the best of everything. Those are different things. What people forget is what put Notre Dame on the map. And it was the bigotry towards Catholics of Michigan.
Yep.
Michigan hated Catholics.
Yep.
What was this?
Fielding Yost.
What the hell? I'm blanking.
It's Fielding Yost. He was an open anti-Catholic, anti-immigrant bigot. Open. And he told all the other Big Ten schools, not only are we not playing them, you need to boycott them too, or you're out of the Big Ten. And they tried to blackball us because of that.
Correct. That's what he did. He was an open bigot. Now, I'm not saying, oh my God, Michigan's still an open big. That's not my point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care. But my point is, fielding Yost's decision to blackball Notre Dame from the Big Ten,
best thing that
Notre
could
Dame
happen
on a path.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
And put Notre Dame on the path.
National recognition.
What they became.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Rockne turned around and said, shove it up your ass, fielding Yost. I'm putting my team on the train. I'm going to California. I'm going to kick their ass there. I'm going to New York. I'm going to kick their ass there. I'm going to Baltimore. I'm going to kick their ass there. Anybody who wants to play my football team, I'm going to shove it right up their ass. And that's what he did. And that's what Notre Dame stands for. And it pisses me off when people want to abandon that for the easier freaking path. This is not what Notre Dame was built on. Notre Dame was built on kicking people's asses. And my wife is standing here looking at me like I'm a goddamn moron.
If you tell her that you're talking to me, I feel like it'll all make sense. Just tell her you're talking to me.
Watching.
It'll all make sense. But all right, now, Pat, let me ask you this.
All right. John, my wife just waved at your YouTube video like you can.
Oh, hi, Lauren. Hi, Lauren. How are you?
He's saying hi to you.
I miss her. Pat, let me ask this. Here's two caveats to this. Number one is that this argument only applies pretty much if Notre Dame's undefeated, right? To get a top four, to like a top seed. One question is, how often is that going to be our dynamic that we're literally top four, not just top 12, but top four to get the bye? That's number one. And then number two is the money. That's got to be another consideration here when you're asking about joining a conference. For me, it isn't all just about the competition, harder, easier path. Notre Dame also can't afford to fall $100 million behind every year in revenue compared to a TV deal for the Big Ten. So as long as it's in the ballpark that Notre Dame can compete with that infrastructure, I don't have a problem.
So okay. So there's two questions there. So let's handle the money one first. The Notre Dame's new NBC contract is rumored to be somewhere in the range of $65 to $75 million.
Yes, correct.
All right. It's not $100 million. It's not $100 million that the Big Ten teams are going to be getting. But Notre Dame doesn't need that. Like, Notre Dame is about the money. But John, you remember when we went to that? We went to the USC game the one year, and the no, I didn't go. It was the game you went to with Tyler in 2005. And
Bush.
You guys went to that game. Bush. All right. And I met a guy the next weekend after that football game that was a VP for the bookstores. At like college bookstores. I don't remember the company's name, but he's this big shot at this company that handles college bookstores, and they handle Notre Dame. And he was telling me that weekend alone, Notre Dame made more money in their bookstore than any other college that they had under their control in a football season combined. He said the credit card machines were burning up so much, they actually went down and had to start doing paper prints of credit cards because there was so much money pumping through that.
I believe it.
Okay. If Notre Dame has the power to do that with Charlie Weiss as the head coach, imagine what they could do with Marcus Freeman and an actual football team that is good.
That's a very, very good point. So you have a lot more material to work with. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the $25 million gap is not it's not going to hurt the university. And by the way, they got like $8 billion in their truck. Okay, this school is not hurting for the money. And besides, it costs like $75 to park your car 2 miles from the stadium. Yeah. They're not hurting.
Yeah. You know what I always say, Pat? Every single time I get off the toll road and pull into town, there's a new building going up. Like everywhere you look, there's a multi-million-dollar huge project building going up here. And then you turn around and there's one there, and then there's another one all over.
Every time I've gone there with my dad, He goes, God damn, this place just prints money, don't they? They just print it. They're like the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
That's his response. He's one of those old timers that basically goes, I used to park in the soccer field and I could see the stadium. Now I got to take a bus to get to the game.
Did he also used to crank up his Model T to get over there or what? Oh, I love your dad. I love your dad though.
I know. The second part of the question though is the better what happens now if Notre Dame let me say it this way. I would rather be the 5th ranked team in the country instead of the top 4. And I'll tell you why. First of all, you're going to play the same number of games as the team that wins as the team that wins the national championship if they come out of the top 4. Because one, you're not going to play a conference champion game. Okay. Yeah. So you don't have that. You're not going to have that data point. All right. So you cannot play the same number of games. Number 2, how many times have you seen a college football team come out flat in a bowl game because they had 5 weeks off?
Yeah, that's another good point.
Do you want to be the team that is playing flat after 5 weeks? The 5 weeks of no competition going into a football game where the team just played 10 days earlier, 8 days earlier, 7 days. You want to play that team that just played and is back in competition, back used to that? I don't think so.
Here's the issue, though. Here's the thing, man. If the money is relative, say 100 million to 75, that's close enough. So wipe that complaint of mine or worry of mine off. Okay, let's say that's close. But I don't, Pat, like I don't think Notre Dame's going to be in the bye territory that often. It would have to be a really great year for me to alter our entire course just for that. You could do it our way and still make the playoff. And then guess what, man? Yeah, you don't have a bye. You know what you do have? You're hosting what I hope is a warm weather team the week of Christmas in South Bend, baby. Happy holidays. I love that dynamic, baby. I love that dynamic. Give me Miami. Give me Florida State. Give me somebody from down south. Give me Swamp Thing. Come on up here and freeze your ass off. Come on up here and freeze your ass off the week of Christmas. Let's go.
Right. But you know what? I'm a guy with the times. I want Notre Dame to evolve. I want to get involved with NIL. I want to get kids in the transfer portal. I think those are all, the game is changing. You change with it. But there is one thing I'm not willing to sacrifice, and it's a thing that put us on the effing map. It's independence. And I know it probably will change eventually, but I am not ready to let it go. And I'm going to be as loud as hell until they do it, because it put us where we're at. It is why we are what we are. And people want to forget that they are giving up the thing that made Notre Dame what it is.
Let me ask you.
I'm not okay with that.
Let me ask you this. If Notre Dame joined the Big Ten at some point in the near future with this new dynamic and they won a championship, is it going to feel less to you? Like, will it emotionally feel less to you if we did that and won it in 5 years with Marcus? Will it genuinely?
Yes, it will. It will. It'll be diminished. Because, John, what did Rockney do? Let's take Rockney out of it, because if Rockney started, what did Leahy do? Leahy played. He scheduled everybody that had a number next to their name. Army, Navy. If you were considered a good football team, Leahy brought his team to you and shoved his foot up your ass. Why do people not want that with this Notre Dame team?
Oh, Pat, I miss you, buddy. I think people are starting to see, Pat, I think people are starting to get the picture why you and I have been friends for 20 years, listening to you and listening to me. But Pat,
how we met. John and I, go ahead.
I don't think.
Go ahead.
I feel like Notre Dame could go 10-2 in the new playoff era and be like the 10 seed or something. Like
absolutely.
Let me ask you this, Pat. I struggle with this. I was thinking about this morning. What is an easier path for Notre Dame? 2012 where you have to be perfect to be one of the two teams to get in the game, and then you just have to beat that team once, or the flexibility to go 10-2, 11-1 a bunch of years, have more spins at the of the dice or whatever, rolls of the dice. However, when you're in, you got to win a bunch of games in a row to get a title. Which is a better path for Notre Dame? Like, what's more realistic? It's hard, Pat. Do you see Notre Dame beating 4 top 10 teams in a row? I have a hard time envisioning that as we sit today. That's a mental block for me to see Notre Dame beating 4 top 10 teams in a row.
Yeah, but somebody has to. Why can't it be Notre Dame?
Yeah,
somebody has to.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to have to do it. All right. And so somebody's going to do it. Why can't it be Notre Dame? Why? I don't, it's why can't it be Notre Dame? Why can't John? I mean,
Pat, you're starting to get some fans, Pat. Look at the screen.
I'm pacing like I'm Hogan. And I just got drop kicked, but I got right up off the mat. We used to do this all the time. I remember we used to get in arguments because I used to be on the other side of this. You can't expect, times are different. You can't expect Notre Dame to dominate anymore like they used to. And I remember you used to like throw hats at me and stuff. And you would be like,
I would never do that.
No, Larry, he did it. Larry kicked everyone's ass. I want that.
I do want that.
Remember the night they beat, it was Charlie. I was watching it at your place, and they beat Michigan 17-10 at Michigan. There was that Charlie Weiss team. Freeman McKnight scores the touchdown.
Yep. 05, I believe.
And Notre Dame wins. Yeah, Notre Dame wins. And we get in a huge fight, and you throw me out of your place because John, they won. What are you so upset about? They won by 7. We should have kicked that team's ass by 35.
You know what, Pat? Everybody has standards, okay?
Rudy was there.
Everybody has standards. Everybody has standards. You know what my favorite Frank story is, Pat? My favorite Frank story is not only him leaving his post at Notre Dame to go to the war, but also requesting to be in the Navy and to be in charge of the athletic department in the Navy. And then what he did was found all the best looking in shape guys in the military and said, how much eligibility do you have left? If we all don't die, we're going to go win a bunch of games. Came back from the war and won 5 years in a row, never lost a game.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what he did when he was there? He's like, man, there's a bunch of badass dudes in the Navy. Hey, all of you who are 18, 19 years old, when this shit's over, you're coming to Notre Dame and playing football.
Yep.
So Mark Holzman, a conference championship game is not harder than a first-round playoff game. I'm sorry, Pat. Tell that to TCU. Now, I know they got in, but they lost. And they almost didn't. They very well could have not got in because of that. So tell that to TCU. So anybody can beat – I don't believe anybody can beat anybody, but there are reasons that upsets happen. So I don't take that to be true. And tell that to Michigan when they have to play USC in a conference title game, and they're both top 5 teams, all right? Or Clemson and Florida State, or Georgia and Alabama, all right? No, conference championship games are not easier than a first-round team. If you're putting a number 5 Notre Dame versus a number 12 TCU, who am I worried about? Was I worried about playing USC in the conference championship game, or am I worried about playing TCU in the playoff? I'll take a 5th-ranked Notre Dame versus the schmuck team who barely scraped their balls to get into the playoff. So no, you can't come at me with that shit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Here's what I like about this, Pat. Think about our life.
But Mark, you win. Hold on, John. Mark, you're not going to go to the ACC.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Go to the ACC.
No, that's not happening.
Out of the question. Notre Dame will never go. If Notre Dame goes to the ACC, you are giving up playing USC. If you are okay with that, you're not a Notre Dame fan, because there's one thing in Notre Dame. John, you started this with me. Who would you rather beat? Ohio State, USC, or Clemson? USC all goddamn day. And so if you wanted to go to the ACC, you just gave up playing USC. And so it's over. It's over. What the hell's the point? There's one team you want to beat every freaking year.
Here's the deal, Pat. They're not joining the ACC. They're not.
No, I agree.
They're not. Like, Mark, I love you. Mark's here all the time. I love you, Mark. But if Notre Dame joins a conference full time, it's the Big Ten for a million reasons. For a million that I don't even want to get into. The ACC's terrible TV deal, them losing teams to the SEC, which they're trying to do. Okay, you have that. The academics line up with the Big Ten and the research they all want to do. All of that. The rivalries are better with Notre Dame and the Big Ten teams. You have the local teams, everything else. You have all that. You have USC in the mix. You have all of that. It's not going to be the ACC. So if you want to go with the conference argument, I'll listen to it. But it has to be in the framework of the Big Ten. You're not looking at this as what the ACC looks like. They are in jail in a TV deal that could burn that whole conference. They have a horrible deal, and they're in a bad spot with no way out. It isn't going to be the ACC. Like, it's just not. It's going to be the Big Ten.
It's not.
And you're going to have USC in there. It's going to be tough. But I promise you, it ain't going to be the ACC.
It's just a bad argument. It's just a bad argument. And I'm not trying to be a dick to the guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy. It's just not a good argument.
Yeah, it's just not gonna be the ACC. So,
and it's a much harder path in the Big Ten because there's two conferences left. And all the talent, they're playing in the Big Ten and they're playing in the SEC. So it's just that's where it's at. That's where it's at.
Yeah. The other thing, Pat, is when the playoff expanded to 12, I almost felt like that freed up the need for Notre Dame to join a conference because you have all this extra flexibility now. A 10-2 Notre Dame that loses their two biggest games on the year is in this field almost every year. Are they not? And you got to be in it to win it. 10-2 Notre Dame's in the top 12. You don't even have to win your biggest games. Now we're in a position where you lose one game, the whole season's ruined. Look at the flexibility we gain. Look at the flexibility we gain to even have a chance. Now we lose one game, and I feel like our big picture goals are probably dead if you lose one game. This gives you more rolls of the dice.
Here's how I think this works. That first year with the playoff change is Marcus Freeman's third season. Okay? What's the historic number? It's number 3 for coaches at Notre Dame. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it in their third year. All right. So he's going to take his team to the playoff. He's going to be the 5th seed. Okay. He's going to whip up on the 12th seed. What seed does he play next? The number 1 seed. Okay. He will get the number 1 seed. And because the number 1 seed has been off for 5 weeks, Notre Dame's going to enter and they're going to roll ass. All right? They're going to roll up on that team. And then you know what the playoff is going to do? The playoff is going to turn around and say, whoa, Notre Dame can't be the 5th seed if they're that good of a team. We can't do that. They're going to be in the – and all this shit changes. Why? Because nobody wants Notre Dame to have the easiest path. And the easiest path is to get Notre Dame playing the 5 versus 12, and they're rolling in on a team that hasn't played for 5 weeks.
All right, let me ask you this. Do you have any worries about the attrition of Notre Dame playing 4 physical games in a row like that in a post? Like, that is a long, brutal, like you don't have that fear at all?
You can't, because quite literally, Marcus Freeman should go to the playoff every year in this format.
Yeah, I agree.
He should go to the
playoff. I say that casually, but I literally mean it. 10-2, you can lose your biggest games of the year. You can lose your biggest games and still make it.
11-1, he should be a top 12 team every year.
Yeah, I agree.
11-1 every year, he should be a top 12 team.
Yep.
All right. So Marcus Freeman should have this team in the playoff every year. So if that's going to be the case, you better get used to that, man. At the end of the day, somebody has to do it. All right. Somebody has to do it. And you're going to play the same number of games. You got to roll 4 in a row. Fine. You got to roll 4 in a row. You got to do it. Let's go. Strap on your big boy pants. Call Leahy. Ask him to come down, shake some thunder from the heavens, and let's play goddamn football.
There he is. He's coming from the heavens. He's right here on your screen. There he is. Frankie's in the house, man. Frankie's in the house. All right, Pat. I don't want to do this to you. I got a bunch of other callers. I got to give them some time.
No, I know. I'm going to jump. I'm going to sit and listen. and
All
see
right.
how the rest of the show goes.
Tell your wife I miss her. I'll come out and see you guys.
Oh, and by the way, the people who said that I needed to pay more to call in, John quite literally owes me so much in alcohol.
I told you, you have
so much.
Pat, of all the alcohol I've consumed in my life, you're responsible for probably literally 75% of it. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding, dude.
And
I'm not kidding at all.
That was in college.
Oh, man. I mean, you have.
All right, brother.
All right. Thanks, Pat. Hey, Pat, I do have a request before you hang up.
What's up?
Next time you call in, can you try and ramp up the energy a little bit? It was kind of lame. You think you could?
There's a bunch of little girls upstairs watching. They're doing a sleepover watching a movie, and they're all like freaked out by me right now.
Oh God! All right, Pat. I'll come out and see you soon. Take care, my friend.
Yeah, you'll come out so I can buy you a beer, right? That's what you're gonna do.
No, if I'm driving that way, you're buying me 6. What are you talking about? Later.
Oh, very good.
Oh,
right,
Pat, unbelievable. He's out of control. Sorry about that. Oh, boy. 219, you're on the line. What's going on, Adam?
John.
What's up, buddy?
Hey,
What's
you
going
and Pat.
What up?
You and Pat.
What about me?
Got me all fired up.
Yeah,
I want to go out in the backyard and play some football.
I'm telling you. Listen, man, listen. There is a reason people end up being lifelong friends with people. And when it comes to the Notre Dame intensity thing, Pat and I are kindred spirits, let's just say. What do you think about all this, man? What do you make of this?
Oh, man. I mean, there's so many good points. Hey, Pat, my name's Adam Dowling. Love your points, man. You're great.
Yeah, man, that's a long time guy, Adam. He thinks along the lines of us. What do you make about this, man? Do you think that I think Notre Dame should be in the playoff almost every year under Marcus. Don't you agree? You could lose your biggest game of the year and still be in it every year. I think that's reasonable.
Oh yeah, we should be at least 12 all the time. I love Pat's points on, that 5-12 game is replaced in your championship game that you're in other conferences.
Right.
We're really not losing anything by staying independent. But I agree with you, John, on the money. As long as the money's close, there's no point to join a conference now.
If it's 75 for us, 65, 75, and then 95 to 100 for the Big Ten deal, that is in the ballpark enough that I'm comfortable with. It just can't be, a $50 million gap that everybody else gets to work with in their department that you don't have. But as long as that money's close, and then Notre Dame could lose their biggest game of the year and still make it, it's a pretty good deal. Is it not?
Yeah. And like you guys were saying too, if we were in the Big Ten, we got to go through USC, we got to go through Michigan, we got to go through Ohio State, or we could stay or play, who is the number 12 team this year?
Right. I mean, Adam, think about this, man. Adam, your family has really, really good season tickets. You go to every game. Imagine us. Yeah, you don't have a bye. But then when you do play, you're hosting a team in mid-December in South Bend. A lot of teams are not built for that, Adam. Even if they're really good, they're not built for that. And we're not talking mid-November weather. We're talking Christmas weather.
Yeah, if we're truly the number 1 or 2 team that's going to win a national championship, which
you'll win that extra game then. You'll win that extra damn game then.
Are we really scared of the number 12 team?
Right.
We're not scared of them then.
See, that you bring up a really good point. If you're in a position where you would have gotten a bye and you didn't, then theoretically, I'm comfortable saying you should feel good enough. You're going to roll that team and it's at your place and it's going to be hella cold and we're going to love it and they're going to hate it. I hope it is a warm weather team. I hope they got them when USC comes. It's like mid-October, Adam. It's not even cold. They have the full neck, the whole headgear underneath their thing with they're lighting barrel fires on the sideline, freezing. I love that. Give me some of that.
Doug, do you remember 18 when we played Florida State, and it was a high of 25 that day, and it was a night game.
Yep.
You remember that one?
Oh yeah, baby. They're not built for that. They're not built for that. Not built for it.
Florida State people were dying. It was hilarious.
So,
but
I don't.
The other point you have.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
You go. It's your show, man. You go. You called. You go.
It's your show. But you guys were kind of arguing about the whole point with if you can only win one on our schedule.
Oh yeah. What is your thought on that?
Question.
No, I'm telling you, dude. I get a bunch. I have gotten a bunch of pushback saying, John, USC is not a playoff caliber team recently. You would get more push out of beating Ohio State the 5th game of the year when you theoretically should be undefeated looking at the 4 games before that. Then you're off to the races, top 5 team, probably playoff chance, all that. I get pushback, Adam, on the value of beating a team with the pedigree of Ohio State that USC does not have recently. I have real people pushing me on this.
John, this is SC.
That's
this
what
is
I
Notre
say.
Dame.
That's what I say too. But now here's the other thing now. Here's the other thing, Adam. You're in my age range, and that's Pat. You, me, and Pat are all within a year of each other. We're in the same age range. A lot of the people that have talked to me about Ohio State being the one, they're younger. They're younger, significantly younger. I've had a bunch of people talk to me about this, but I've noticed early, mid-20s. Does that have something to do with it? That they don't have the history that a 40-year-old has of USC and all that? I don't know if that matters or not. But to me, Freeman can't start out 0-2 against USC. That's a bad harbinger for every Notre Dame coach in history. Your record against USC is magnified. I can't have our guys starting 0-2, dude. I can't.
Yeah, you completely read my mind on it. Has to be an age thing. You know, we're close. We're in the close. I'm 40. I think you're a couple of years behind.
Yep,
me.
I'm 38. Pat's right there too. Yep.
20, you know, they only remember bad USC.
That's what I was going to say. You know what they remember? They remember Swamp Thing lucking out that USC was a flaming dumpster his entire tenure in Notre Dame. His entire time at Notre Dame, USC was garbage. That helped Brian Kelly so much.
Yeah, we grew up, you know, our Thanksgiving dinners were talking about the USC game, and that's everything. That's what all we were worried about was Saturday, getting through the Thanksgiving dinner. Let's watch USC Notre Dame out in LA.
Yep. It's just so much more big picture important to me to maintain power over that rivalry than anything else. And I get that the Ohio State game's position in the schedule is a big deal because it is the first big game of the year, and it would provide Notre Dame, you know, a big boost if they got. But big picture in all of Notre Dame, I value beating USC over everything else we do. And then Michigan after that. Michigan and USC. I value beating them over anything else in my existence, basically.
It's this simple, John. There's, you know, going to games my whole life, there's one game that the Notre Dame faithful truly will never sell their tickets and will be at and stand the whole game. And it is the Notre Dame USC game. There are other games where they will sell their tickets. They won't be there. But the USC game, there is no, the fans will be there and they will be loud.
Yep.
And so that shows what is most important.
Yep. It's just, man, Adam, sometimes I just feel like an old man. I have so many old traditional Notre Dame things I value that are out of vogue. I just feel old, but I don't care. Like, man, I don't know.
Getting old. And even you and Pat talking about like the guys, when you get up the toll road, there's a new building every time. That's how it is when I take my dad to games too. Like the Clemson game. Like we've been in the library a lot for years. And
Yeah, you
every
told me,
year.
I asked
Like,
you, Adam, I said to you, I said, where are you guys tailgating? I'll come find you. You go, I don't know, look for a big crane.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Every year he gets mad. He's like, all we do is get pushed farther out. Every year they build a new building.
Yeah.
We get pushed farther. We used to park right next to the
Yep.
stadium. You don't remember this,
Yep.
Adam. But
Yep.
we parked right next to the stadium.
Yeah, it's hilarious, man. Dude, I remember, Adam, I'm old enough where I used to sleep in line. Outside the one Notre Dame ticket window for game day sales. And every game was sold out, so there was no tickets available. I used to sleep over in a sleeping bag in that line to get all of like the return tickets the morning of that the opponent doesn't use, or handicap people getting access, and then they'd resell the regular tickets at face value. I'm old enough to remember when they had that road driving between the Joyce Center and the stadium. You used to be able to drive right through the middle of campus. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting
I
old.
remember the Bush push game. My dad's friend, who was the season ticket holder at the time, he gave me 2 tickets to me and my buddy, and we were, just out of high school, and a couple of years. We're in college, but he said, "Here, you guys go sell these, and you guys can keep the money." And I think they sold for like over $1,500 a piece for that game.
Yep. I ended up with 2 extra. That's what I sold them for. I'm not kidding. I ended up with 2 extra for the Bush push. 1,500 was what I got, and it took me 2 minutes in the parking lot to get it. It was awesome. It was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. I was too young for 88 Miami, too young for 93 Florida State. Bush push was as close as I get, and we didn't win the game, which is a little upsetting. But as far as that magical feeling, that was as close as I've seen. Adam, let me ask you another question. How much do you think Notre Dame got better with Sam Hartman? How many games is Sam Hartman worth to you in terms of like WAR, wins above replacement of like an average run-of-the-mill quarterback? How much better is Notre Dame? I've had people tell me it's 1 to 2 games better. If it's 1 to 2 games better, we're 11-1 and 12-0. Am I wrong?
I think we're 11-1 this year with Sam Hartman.
Okay. Yeah. Now, do you have concerns on the defense? Do you feel better about the offense? You're a little iffy on the defense. Where are you at? That might be where I'm at.
I have the same concern. I have the same concern with you of being light in the run game.
Yep. I don't like it. We can't
get
Adam.
The middle.
Adam, we can't get ran on. I'm going to lose my mind. The number one thing Notre Dame can't get ran on. It's a big priority. You can't.
Because the good teams ran on us, SC and Ohio State. They won those games by running on us. It wasn't the pass game. It was the run.
Yeah. I don't know. We're just a little light there.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right. But Notre Dame's defense was a little weird last year, dude. They were a little weird. They had stretches where they were really good, stretches where they were bad, ended up second to dead last in touchdowns allowed in the red zone, which is annoying. They were kind of hit or miss a little bit. Do you feel like things will be tightened up with Al Golden year 2? Do you think even though he's a veteran, he needed a year to get in there and figure out his personnel? Do you expect things to tighten up? I hope.
I think so. Don't you feel like Maris was like worse this year than he was as like a young player?
Do you want to know my real answer? My real answer is, God, Adam, you're in my brain, dude. You're freaking me out. I think about this. Listen to this. You're gonna laugh at this. You're gonna think this is messed up, man. When I think about Maris and this year, I ask myself, was he actually literally worse at playing football? Or do I just notice everything he does because his hair's flying around? Like,
yeah, because you see his hair flying around like he's going to make a play. And
right. And like, it makes me wonder, am I just zoning into him because I see that hair and then he runs into a lineman and never gets home? Like I ask myself, maybe I'm overlooking it. Dude, These linebackers
I'm
should be
confused.
Adam, these linebackers should be way more effective than they were this year. They should be way more effective.
I'm not like the biggest expert on defense. You know, I played offense my whole life and went to a big school to where you never, you know, you didn't play both ways. But I just kind of go off like what I see. Like, I don't see any like splash plays from our linebackers.
Yeah.
That's what always like.
Here's
like,
what I don't like.
Tavon Coney. Like Tavon Coney was always in that backfield.
Yeah.
Like he was always like shooting through, making, or Jalen Smith. Like you never see much splash out of them.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Here's what I felt like. I felt like our linebackers were always like a half second late, whether it be to shed a block or fill a gap or hit a blitz at the right time. I feel like they were always just a second late, and it burned us. And the best linebackers that you could think of that Notre Dame's had, or just in general, they all just had that natural inclination, nowhere to be, nowhere to get their guys, have a feeling, they can intuit where the ball's going. Our guys seem to react, and by that time, it's too late. The good news is there's a lot of talent in the linebacker room. They've done a good job recruiting that group. They're going to have a lot of options, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, just real quick here on Maris, it's almost like, remember the COVID year, it seemed like he was everywhere. You've seen splash plays from him. And then he got hurt. And then last year, he would be running fast, but didn't seem like he made that many impact plays. I think you need him to kind of get back to that COVID year guy.
Yeah.
On the flip side, kind of why I wanted to call my call originally, but you and Pat got me all worked up.
We're good at that. We're good at that. Can you see why me and Pat are friends? You think our personalities are a good match? A little intense, little on the intense side, a little bit.
And my wife says the same thing. She's like, we've never actually met John, even though we're always at the stadium when he is, but you guys are like too much alike. It just scares me. My wife says that.
Yeah, it's a bit much. It's a bit much.
But is the recruiting. And we're all trying to win a national championship here. And it's been 2 years in a row now. I think we've been at number 8.
Yep.
And if you look at last year's recruiting class, that number 8 was kind of really heavy defense, which we know is all market, right?
Yep.
So, you know, that right away, a lot of linebackers. And what do we have to do, John? We have to recruit. This is my belief, and people may not, agree with me on this, but I truly believe we have to recruit in the top 5 for 2 or 3 years to be a serious contender. I feel like we have to be in the top 5 for 2 or 3 years.
The numbers.
So what do we got to do to make that next step?
The numbers suggest that. Like when I do my research of who's won a title the last 10 years, what I find is a run-up of a 2 or 3 year period of top 5 recruiting classes strung together for at least 2 to 3 years, and or the best quarterback in the country. So the 2 outliers I found over the last like 10 or 15 years were Clemson and Auburn. And it was quarterbacks that were the best quarterbacks in the country. And then the other talent could be a little lower, but you had the best quarterback at the best player at the most important position, and you ended up winning. So top 5. The other issue is, Adam, I don't know if you noticed this. Yesterday, 247 updated their 2023 player rankings. They dropped a ton of Notre Dame guys, a ton of spots out of nowhere, Adam. We dropped all the way to number 9 in 2023 recruiting yesterday. They dropped a lot of Notre Dame guys that committed, down a whole bunch of spots, and lowered our rating. And I have no reason why. I have no theory why. They just did.
Well, and that's a known thing, John.
They dropped Bowen. They dropped Bowen a ton of spots for no damn reason. The kid was playing injured. He was playing injured the whole year and fought through it, and they dropped him. It isn't right.
And
What
that's
they
a
did,
known thing.
what they did to Brendan Vernon isn't right because Brendan Vernon doesn't want to play all the drama, social media games. Committed to Notre Dame, shut it down. That doesn't drive ratings. He dropped like a rock. I want these guys to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, and then that's funny because like the parent, we've talked, we know the parents, and the parents laugh at it. Like, really, as soon as I committed to Notre Dame, now I went from 5 to 4 to 200. Come on.
Yeah, dude. I don't understand how that's even possible. But even with that, maybe the number we need to look at isn't that overall recruiting rank, but looking at that blue chip rate, 83% blue chip rate. You have to understand a handful of years ago, Kelly's blue chip rate was in the 40s. He had some classes that were in the 40s of blue chip rate. Marcus is at 83 out of 1 year. How can that not end up paying big dividends? How?
Yeah. As long as they just keep the energy up. I just worry sometimes with all this NIL stuff is if as long as they don't get discouraged on they're losing some guys, even though I know for a fact we probably would have had a couple five-star guys in this class if there was no NIL. I know for a fact. And It's hard to do. I mean, think about your job, Don. If you just worked your ass off and did a great job, and then someone just like threw a bag of cash.
Yep. No, listen. There's a reason, Adam, there's a reason Marcus Freeman is where he is. And I'm not. I don't know if I'd be able to handle it. I'd be so upset. It would just drive me insane to be in the driver's seat, do everything right, and lose out to something that I can't control. Now, let me give you this. I brought this up the other day. And I said, you know, how can Notre Dame overcome those blank checks or whatever and still be able to get top 5 classes? And a lot of people are saying, if Notre Dame starts winning their biggest games, that would help a lot. Like if you do beat USC and Clemson or USC next year, like, and then if you get in a playoff game, it has to be competitive, even if it's a loss. Like, what do you think about that? Do you think that that if we start beating some top 5 teams with more regularity, more guys would go with us? Or at the end of the day, does money trump? Or does money trump that though? Is money bigger than that?
Just some players maybe, but I think we would do a lot better if we did win those big games. That's why that Clemson game was so important. You know, it showed how much fun it could be here at Notre Dame, how great this place is. You know, we didn't get a reputation for people to want to come to Notre Dame because we got in big games and lost, right?
Yeah.
Like you wanted to go to Notre Dame for that environment, that feel, and that energy, and that, you know, you got a great education with football. Yeah, you have to win big games. None of these top schools are losing big games and getting top recruiting classes.
Yeah.
I mean, who's losing? I mean,
yeah, and you know what the weird one is, man? Like Michigan always comes to mind. Michigan has won the Big Ten. They win in the Big Ten. They can't crack the top 20 in recruiting. I think it's because their coach is weird and he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there. They keep winning a lot. He just doesn't want to be there. The guy doesn't want to be there, but nobody wants him because he's a freaking weirdo.
Yeah, because he's his own agent. So when he goes and talks to these NFL teams, they're like, this guy is weird. Get him out of here.
Dude, he is a freaking weirdo. Anyways, what else? Let me see. I had one other thing I wanted to ask you. What was it? Let me find this. Oh, I know what it was. Adam, what do you make of this big defensive line prospect, Justin Scott, in St. Ignatius, my old stomping grounds, Pat's old stomping grounds? We both went to different schools, but in this same Chicago Catholic League conference. What do you make of him pulling back from his commitment date and wanting to look around a little bit? Is that good for Notre Dame? Is it bad for Notre Dame? What do you make of that? Because a lot of people thought he was just going to commit to Notre Dame. What do you make of this?
I don't think it can be good, but I'll give the kid some credit for, you know, not just committing.
Yeah. That's
And
mature. That
really
shows
figure
some
out what he
maturity. That shows some maturity to know you're not quite ready. I do. I think that shows some respect and maturity. I agree with you. But I also don't like it. But Adam, I agree with you, but I also don't like it. I wish the guy would say, I'm from Chicago. Notre Dame's close. I love it. It's close to home. We're done with here. Like, I wish. But
because all the big boys are getting involved now.
But wouldn't you rather this be what's going on than Keeley, where he's in the class, you're kind of counting on him for a year, and then at the last minute, it's gone. I would much rather, if a guy is not sure, he admits he's not sure and doesn't make any decisions, because it frees Notre Dame up to be able to aggressively recruit other guys if they don't know how that's going to go. I would prefer that path, but only as a second option. My number one path is I love Notre Dame. I'm not looking anywhere else. Let's go to Notre Dame and kick some ass.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you'd rather have it the way he's doing it now. He wasn't sure. I think he was all in on Notre Dame. He must have got some, I think it was Georgia, people are saying. So he must want to go see Georgia. But we have to, and I've read some stuff that Tommy Rees is putting some big effort in the Catholic League again.
Good.
So he knows. I think he knows that this Catholic League, it must have been. I read some stuff too that Brian Kelly didn't really recruit the Catholic League that hard, which is absolutely asinine in every single way. It absolutely makes no sense. When you're dealing with that Chicago Catholic League, where I played athletic events at all these schools, let me tell you something. You're dealing with these good families and good kids that they all have their shit together, and they're good families, good kids, and they want to go to Notre Dame. It is the easiest recruiting pitch Notre Dame's ever going to have. Yeah, John. I mean, it's you have to own the Catholic League in Chicago if you're going to be successful at Notre Dame. That has to be your state. You know how like Kirby Smart says we're going to put borders on Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, the Chicago Catholic League has to be Notre Dame state, and I think they see that now. And we haven't heard that since like Lou.
Yep.
Lou made it a priority.
Yeah, Adam, I told you. I remember my dad used to say when we were like in grade school, Lou's coming to the high school game tonight. We're going to go. Let's see if Lou's there or who's there of his staff. And depending on who of the staff they sent, you knew who they were looking at because of the position. Like, we used to be able to do that. And then any guys we didn't want, feel free to go to Purdue. You could go to Northwestern. You could go to Wisconsin. You could go to Illinois. But we got the ones we needed out of that Catholic League always.
Yeah, doesn't Lou have his own burger at Heroes and Legends out there in Joliet?
Yeah, there you go. I'm telling you, man. Like we used to, I don't know, but Kelly let some pipelines dry up just because he didn't work them enough. You got to lube them pipelines, baby. If you don't work them, they're going to rust up. Lou didn't want to work them.
Yeah, and
he didn't want to work them.
Over here in Indiana at the Catholic school, like if you're good, like if Notre Dame comes calling, you go. Like you gotta get that locked down.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bad look if he doesn't pick Notre Dame.
See, but it's a bad look. But if a guy said objectively, this is a bad look. It's a Catholic school guy, 2 hours from Notre Dame. Like it all makes sense. It all lines up. The grades, it all lines up. But Adam, if a guy says, I've lived in Illinois forever and I want to go live in a different part of the country and see what that's like and go to Georgia. And oh, by the way, they pay me a lot and they win a lot. I can't blame the guy. I mean, hell, that's a good deal. I can't blame him. I don't like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, some of these kids, how can you blame them? If they're throwing a bunch of cash at you, and you can go somewhere, and if you hate it, you can just transfer.
Yep.
So why wouldn't you take the cash?
Because there's not really any risk. You're not locked into anything.
No, you can just transfer next year if you hate it.
Yeah.
Right?
Man, that's wild. I don't know, man. Anything else? I want to give some other people a chance.
No, man. Yeah. Get some other people, John. It's good talking to you.
Hey, let me tell you this.
I love your
Tell your wife I'm sorry. Just tell her I'm sorry. Just for all of it. Just tell her I'm sorry. She'll meet me eventually.
Oh yeah. We'll meet. Maybe at the spring game. Let's try to meet up at the spring game. But I'll talk to you before then, John. So get some other people on here.
Beautiful. Have a good weekend, man. See ya.
All right, we'll talk to you
later. Here we go. We got a celebrity here, Jack Sacco. It's good to see you, Jack. I miss you. I sincerely miss you, Jack. You're a good guy. Jack and Mark with glasses, Jack Sacco. I read your book. It's great. Where the Birds Don't Sing. Pulitzer Prize nominated book. Notre Dame graduate, Jack Sacco. Proud to call him my friend. Check it out, folks. It's a fantastic book. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. Might even be turned into a feature film soon. Who knows? Who knows? Stay tuned. All right. We're going to have a problem. We're going to have a problem. Where is it? Let's see. Here it is. Knut Rock Knee. Kelly is the most winning Kelly is the most winning coaches in ND history, and he's treated like a pile of garbage. Our fan base is insane. Oh, man. I don't know if I haven't had enough Miller Lights or if I've had too many to address this. One, Brian Kelly also has the most losses in Notre Dame history. I'm trying to be calm. So if we're going to go there with the most wins, we have to also go there with the most losses. Also, here's the main thing. Your name on this platform is Knute Rockne, which tells me you're a Notre Dame guy, a Notre Dame fan, or your name on here wouldn't be Knute Rockne. So I assume you know Notre Dame history. What does Notre Dame history value more than anything else? Winning things that matter. Winning things that matter. Did Kelly ever do that? I'm asking you, did Kelly ever win anything that mattered ever at Notre Dame? Did he win anything we value at Notre Dame? No, he did not. His biggest bowl win is what? The Camping World Bowl? Congratulations! Frankly, he's jealous that you won the Camping World Bowl. Get a grip. Outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. This guy never won a major bowl game. He never won anything Notre Dame people value. Our entire history. Kelly never won anything Notre Dame fans traditionally value ever. Nothing. He could not win one postseason game that mattered ever. Ever. Over a decade, the guy couldn't win a game that mattered. Okay? This is Notre Dame. There is no division to win. There is no conference to win, and then you lose in a playoff. No. This is Notre Dame. You win shit that matters, or you don't do anything. Now, does Kelly deserve credit for rebuilding a program that was in a really rough spot when he took it over? 100% yes. Kelly deserves a lot of credit for putting some of the infrastructure in that got us a little more modern, and he did inherit kind of an ugly mess and all that. Fine. But ultimately, Brian Kelly never won anything Notre Dame people value. And here's the other thing, Knute Rockne. It's ironic to me that a guy called Knute Rockne is defending Kelly, because that just makes no sense to me that your name could be Knute Rockne and you're defending Kelly. It just doesn't. The guy couldn't win anything anybody cared about ever. And here's the worst part. Kelly didn't put in genuine effort. And that's unacceptable. Forget the results. Take the results out of it, okay? The wins and the losses. The effort wasn't there. And I cannot respect that. He was a lazy recruiter. And towards the end, the last couple of years, the guy quit. Do you know what that is? They're talking about quiet quitting at your job. That's like a trend or whatever. He quiet quitted Notre Dame. He knew that was as high as he's going to get, and he wasn't willing to recruit harder or differently. Checked out, looked for another job. Okay? I do not respect someone who doesn't put full effort into something I love more than anything else, which is Notre Dame football. Brian Kelly refused to put full effort into it, and I'll never forgive him for it. And he could drown in a swamp in Louisiana after a long night of Mardi Gras. Okay? I will not acknowledge or respect a guy that refused to work hard. Period. End of story. Oh, boy. What do we got? 818. What's going on tonight?
Welcome back. Come on, John.
Yeah.
Can you sing with me?
Welcome
back.
Yeah, Cotter was here. He loves it. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back. Anyways, so
we're going to try this, my friend. I'm going to wait. I'm going to make sure I don't get above a certain decimal level. And you got to give me the old earlobe. You know, we talked about this.
I know you're good so far. What do you make of the discussion tonight? I know you've been on. I know you've been on the line,
John. I got so much pushback. You're gonna like this because this is genuine pushback. This isn't like
pushback from what? Pushback from what?
On two. Well, really on one account because I think Patrick addressed something I was going to bring up, and then he kind of was on my side, and that was the independence thing. Although I want to talk about that too. OSU, the Ohio State University, is without a shadow of a doubt the number one game on the schedule. Circle it 5 times. USC is a distant second. Let me tell you why.
Okay, this is beautiful. This is why I like this. Let me have it. Tell me it.
Oh, I'm going to take your I'm older argument and actually make you look shameful.
Let's go.
I say that in the most loving possible way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. I love it. Let's go.
Yeah. Now, I'm 10 years beyond you.
Okay.
So those of us who are in our mid-40s distinctly remember Notre Dame getting beat by double digits in 1995 and 1996, both away and home against Ohio State.
John Cooper, am I right? Was it John Cooper, the coach, Ohio State?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. That is correct. Under Holtz. Those 2 losses added on to the 3 that, you've experienced in the height of your Notre Dame fandom. So that's 5. Also, John, you were misfortunate enough to not experience that. I believe it was a 12-game winning streak against USC from, I believe, 1986 through 1998.
Man, I experienced it. I was just too young to really enjoy it.
A long history of beating their ass to kind of buffer me from what they experienced in those 8 years that you were at your heyday of seeing them pound us. And the 2005 game was probably the height of your Notre Dame fandom. So it makes sense. You feel the way you do. But me being 10 years older, I remember when we dominated USC, over year after year after year. So that's juxtaposed against what they did against us. And because of the fact that there was also those, I have never seen Notre Dame come within double digits of Ohio State my entire life. So yes, that is absolutely the number one game next year. Plus, I still think we're in this phase of USC where, I'll be honest with you, man, I'm just taking my Notre Dame fandom out of it. If you're just a college football fan, USC sort of needed to get that win against us this year, man, to kind of bring a little bit of that hype back. So I'm not so upset about that as maybe I would be otherwise, because I still think we're going to get them next year. But if I had to pick the 2, I would take the Ohio State one. Now, let's get to this conference stuff.
No, wait. Let me ask one clarifying question. Did it, when you came to that conclusion, was it big picture or did some of it have to do with the uniqueness of next year with with Notre Dame having 4 reasonable games to start the year, then Ohio State would be 5th? Does any of it have to do with that being the first big game? We should be undefeated and then it's a ramp off? Or is it a bigger picture than just next year's schedule that you came to that conclusion?
Well, it's weird you say that. And that's a really good question because it's kind of both. Because if you look at big picture, yeah, I want to be USC every year. That's the big team on our schedule. But, John, if you were to go back into the 80s, okay, who would a Notre Dame fan, let's say 1990, the last time we played Notre Dame 1991, right? 91? That was the last game at Notre Dame. Or was that 90? That was 1990. Last game that Notre Dame played in Miami for a long time, the last one at Notre Dame Stadium. We won that game. Would Notre Dame fans have taken a win against USC that year or a win against Miami? I guarantee they'd have taken a win against the Hurricanes after the way we were bitch slapped the year before that.
Yeah.
At the Orange Bowl.
That's a good point.
Guaranteed.
That might be a good point.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but okay, I do, but I think you have to allow for extreme circumstances, and that whole Miami 80s thing, late 80s thing might be one where you make an exception to my general rule because of the uniqueness of what that Miami thing is and just how egregious it was and in your face, and you knew it was dirty and they were barely even hiding it. Like that was a unique circumstance of hatred that everybody had for them.
Well, John, if in 2009 or the first year Kelly beat them in 2010,
yeah, I think 10.
I would have agreed with you about USC because I'm like, oh, we needed to win against USC. That was 8 years in a row we lost. But I'm just saying, so it's kind of weird. It's big picture, but it's also small picture because, yeah, my whole life, Notre Dame has lost by double digits at least to Ohio State the 5 times we played them. So you're damn right. That's big picture. But I will say, year in and year out, USC is still our rival. It's still number one for sure.
Yeah.
This conference thing too. The only thing I'm going to add to this point, because he made my point for me. If I remember right, I told you that I thought that yeah, we have to win 4 in a row, but so does everybody, sort of. Unless the teams that actually benefit the most from this, John, are the ones that get to lose the championship game and still remain in the playoffs.
Yep, you're right. I thought of that too. That's a good point. I thought of that too.
Win 4 in a row.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
It's so in a way, everybody starts to win 4 in a row. It's just when their buys come. John, our buy, it's perfect. It comes while everybody's playing their championship game and maybe have played 1 or 2 weeks before that even. We got to buy. And then we have to win 4 in a row. A lot of teams are going to have to win their 6th or 7th game in a row. 7th and maybe 8th game in a row. Yeah. If their buy came way early in the season. So you see what I'm saying? In a weird way, I still think it, for the most part, other than a couple exceptions, obviously, if you're the conference champion, you win, you get that bye week. Okay. But you still had to win the conference championship game, which counts as that first game that we just play the next week. You know what I'm saying? I still think it's a major advantage overall. I do agree if it was between that and joining the ACC, obviously stay independent. If it's joining the Big Ten, I'm just like, you got a harder road to get there. I actually prefer being independent in that respect too. So I'll take this any day of the week, man. The more I thought this through, and the more, I think it was Patrick that talked about that, I think, the more I agree even more with that assessment, that it is better to be in Notre Dame's shoes.
Let me ask this. I asked Pat this too.
And much better as a Notre Dame fan. Yeah. We get the host playoff game if that happens.
Right. If Notre Dame joined a conference and won a championship, would it feel less to you? Would it feel like it isn't genuine because it's not the way that we set out to originally do it and the way every other one's been earned? Would it feel less? Would it feel less to you?
I'm going to answer the same way. When I remember back in the day when we had a chance to either play Kansas State or Alabama. Yeah, there were some sports writers that were like, "Oh, bring on Alabama! I want to know that we're the best." 10 years from now, who's going to remember what team you play? They're going to know that you have a title in the case. Yeah. I disagree. I would have much rather us play Kansas State that day. We would have never had to worry about what if, because Alabama wouldn't even got there. Right. No one would have been talking about that. All they would have cared about is that we had a title in the case because we would have been undefeated. Yeah. So, no, I want the easiest path. I'm telling you, man, that we can even beat down. John, this year's, if Notre Dame had beaten USC, we probably would have been the number 12 team.
Right. Yeah.
So we would even possibly be 9-3 and still make it. Possibly.
Man, that's a stretch. But at a minimum, I feel like Notre Dame could go.
We would have, John. We would have been the 12th team. I did the math. We would, if we'd have
with
beat USC,
three.
I
thought 10-2 was pushing it. You're telling me with 3 losses, Notre Dame could still be in the top 12? That's a ton of flexibility, man. That's a lot.
No, it would have to be a really good 3. That's what I'm saying. We lost 3 games. Had we beaten USC, I did the math. We would have been in the top 12. We would have been in the. I think we'd have been number 12 this year. That's not going to be the case every year. But I'm just saying there are going to be some years where even 9-3, if it's a tough enough schedule and if you have enough momentum and you win most of the games at the end. Where I'm just saying, I'll take that. I'll take the way it is now. I think that's the best route to go.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, man.
Way, here's the other thing. First week of the second week of December, I think was like in the 60s this year. So I hope it's not one of those off years.
I was going to say, go figure, man. We wait 170 years,
right?
And then we have a playoff game hosted at Notre Dame in December, and it would be 70 degrees and unseasonably warm. People are golfing. People are having picnics. It's all warm. I don't want it. The
only good thing of that would be having all your recruits in that week. Oh, hey,
yeah.
What are we talking about?
Exactly, man. Yeah, but picture this, man. Sometime in the near future, Notre Dame is going to host a home playoff game. I don't know when, but it's coming. Can you imagine how wild that is? Just for me to say it is wild that Notre Dame's going to host a home playoff game soon. It's absolutely wild.
Dude, that's why it's weird. Like, as a Notre Dame fan, even if you were to agree, although now I don't, now I really see that there's only a couple teams that really could benefit from that whole bye week thing because, I just mentioned it before.
That makes sense.
But, dude, I think every Notre Dame fan would trade that for the chance of hosting a playoff game because now you just mentioned something. That's a win. You say, oh, there's nothing in the case I care about. Don't tell me that every Notre Dame fan wouldn't remember that first playoff home, whatever, victory, game that we host. That's going to be for a long time to come, man. That will be an amazing, amazing moment for a Notre Dame fan.
Yeah, that it's going to be historic. That's going to be a wild scene. I don't know, man, but you have some really good thoughts. I have just seen a lot of different sides to this, and listen, man. Marcus can't start out 0-2 against USC. I have a problem with that. Whether their team's bought and paid for and we all have bad feelings about it or not, I don't like my guy starting 0-2 against our number one hated team that Newt Rockne created Notre Dame off of. I have a hard time with it.
Reason than that, it's Caleb Williams. I don't want to see that guy beat us twice. I want to see us hand him his ass next year. That's my main thing. If it was just a regular USC team, I'd be like, okay, we beat them a few years in a row. They can have a couple. Again, if I'm trading that for Ohio State.
Yeah.
But I will say the fact that it's Caleb Williams does change it for me just slightly. I still go with Ohio State, though, man. I still think that's the game. That one, and I'll take Ohio State and USC, and I'll trade that for a Clemson loss.
Yeah, it's
to be fair.
And you know what, Clemson, I like Klubnik, and I like the new offensive coordinator I hired. They're going to be a lot better next year, and it's away. That's going to be tough. But I'm more worried about the first two we have, getting into it. And let me ask you this. If you're ever going to have a chance to beat Ohio State, would your best chance not be at home when you have an experienced quarterback and they're breaking in a new one? Would that not be your best chance to beat modern day Ohio State? It's a pretty good setup.
Again, 5 years in a row, 5 times you played them in a row of double-digit losses. Let's add up all the points that those losses came to.
Right.
To put more of a, custard on top. I'm telling you, man, that's why. It's those 2 extra losses to Ohio State that we've had to endure if you're a longtime fan. And also the fact that we had a 10, 12-year run where we just beat USC all the time. We got kind of spoiled from it,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's I don't know, man. You have good points. I get it. It's a tough dynamic. How about we do this? We just win both of them and we don't have to worry about it. How about that? Eliminate eliminate my entire question. Eliminate my entire question. We win them both. Don't have to worry about it. Oh, all right, man. I'm going to take a halftime pee break here for this show. I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, John, have a good one. By the way, I predict we're going to win those two games. So it's going to be a Notre Dame win over USC and OSU.
Ooh, I'm going to hold you on that. Have a good weekend, Rodney. We'll talk to you. Thanks for the call, my friend. See ya. All right. We could keep going if you want, but I got to take a 1-minute pee break. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back. Oh, boy. How's that for some good programming? How many hosts do you know say, time out, I'm going to go use the restroom? It's a Friday night. Give me a break. Oh, boy. Phil, $10 holler. I appreciate it very much. Love these night shows, John. My wife and daughter are even watching and listening tonight. Well, I might feel bad for them. I mean, I appreciate that you're here. I just imagine they might want to watch other things. I don't know, but I like that they're here. Oh, boy, we still got some calls. Let's see what's going on here. 703, you're talking to me. What's going on a Friday night?
Oh, I'm fired up with these callers, especially the first one. Man.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Most excited.
It's Friday. It's something about Friday night. People are like in a better mood. It's the weekend and people are a little bit more like animated. But I love the vibe.
Yeah. This is the most hyped I've ever been for Notre Dame football season. Like, Notre Dame football, my dad always had the game on. I kind of first started remembering. I kind of remember the Brady Quinn era, but I was too young. But, man, like, I've never been this excited. So, I want to beat USC.
Explain to me why. What is building your excitement? Is it that you're a believer in Freeman? Is it you're a believer in Freeman and Hartman excites you that we could get up to the next level? Like, what's ramping it up for you for 23?
It's finally having a quarterback that can compete with the best programs in the country. Like,
it's a really good answer, man. That's a hell of an answer. It's a really good answer and one that we don't have many times here.
Because with Jimmy Clausen, like, the defense was bad. I mean, he was good, but the defense was bad, so we never had a shot. But if Golden can get this defense figured out, and Sam can hit our new shiny receivers that we're getting in the recruiting, along with the transfer from Tech and the tight ends, man, along with the running game that we had this year, like I feel like we can beat anyone.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, how old are you? I think that helps with this. What's your age range?
I'm 21.
All right, so you're on the younger end of the spectrum, and I'm curious, of the 3 big games, Ohio State, USC, Clemson, if I told you you could only get one win, which one are you picking and why?
It's really close between USC and Ohio State.
That's how I feel too.
Mm-hmm. If I had to pick one, I guess I would say Ohio State because, I mean, even though I'm an East Coaster, I feel like they run the Midwest in the recruiting. Like we've gotten them for a couple guys, but in recruiting, I feel like Ohio State's the bigger fish we got to fry. And I feel like if we can beat them, then it'll really help in recruiting. And that's like, I don't know. I'm always trying to think big picture, and I feel like in recruiting, beating Ohio State would help most.
The other interesting dynamic is recently Notre Dame and Ohio State have been overlapping and competing for more recruits than Notre Dame and USC. And you have the geography that they're closer. That argument does make a lot of sense that if you could beat them, you get a lot of them guys looking at both going, well, wait a second here. Who's got the upper hand? That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. If we could have gotten what's that one D lineman, Jason Moore, man.
Hey,
I mean, I know we're going to be great.
Dude, I wanted 2 mores, and we ended up with -0 mores, and I don't like it. I needed a big time more on the offense, and I needed a big time more on the defense, and we didn't get either one of them. And it looked like we were going to get both for a long time, and I'm still not over it.
Yeah, it stinks.
Let me ask you this.
This is also
Can I ask you this, man? I got to go here.
Go ahead,
I can't help it. I got to ask you. 21 years old. That means your entire cognitive fanhood has been Brian Kelly, right? That's all you've known, right?
Charlie Weiss.
Oh.
But not even a good Charlie Weiss, the bad Charlie Weiss and then Kelly.
Yeah, but it's just wild to me. And the age difference, from your group to my group, to my dad's group, to my grandpa's group, going back to Frank, all this time frame, and a lot of things change and a lot of things stay the same. What do you make of the new playoff? How does Notre Dame fit in all that? Is Notre Dame going to benefit from this 12-teamer because they could go 10-2 and make it every year, or what?
Mm-hmm. I think we can because, and especially with the recruiting, I feel like it'll help us. I feel like it'll help us compete more on an even scale, like getting these recruits to go to these 28-degree playoff games. Like if that doesn't hype you up to go to Notre Dame, I don't know what will. So I think it might help Notre Dame compete a bit more. And also, I feel like that one of the callers before said this. I feel like it'll get our guys more loose and less tight. Like the other teams are going to be nervous. They're like, "Oh, this is our first playoff game of the season." But Notre Dame, they'll be fired up already. They've already won a playoff game. They know what it's like. They'll be ready for action.
Man, I'm telling you, I hate that if Notre Dame goes undefeated or 11-1, we can't have a bye. But if I can't have a bye, the absolute next best thing would be hosting one of these teams in the middle of December in northern Indiana. I really like that. If I can't have the bye, the next possible best thing is it's around Christmas and we have a warm weather team coming to our place. I like that a lot. That's a big advantage slanted to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, if we go undefeated this season, man, I feel like the recruiting, I feel like Freeman would be able to win.
Look at you out of nowhere. If we just go undefeated, everything will be great. But what are the odds though that you're going to make it through a schedule with Ohio State and USC and Clemson, and then a couple tricky slip-up games in there? 12-0 is asking a lot. Now, how much has that changed since Hartman? Like, was it 10-2? But now that we got him, you're going, you know what? The hell with it. I think we could beat everybody. Was that the difference?
Yeah, I mean, we would have, if we would have had Sam Hartman, we would have beat USC. I feel like we can beat USC with Sam Hartman. And even that Ohio State game, too, like, Reese was super conservative because he was worried about Buckner making turnovers, like we kind of saw in South Carolina. So I feel like we would have won both Ohio State and the USC game with Hartman.
And you just triggered something. Thank you for this. You just triggered something. A lot of people are talking about, like, never mind. I lost the thought. Keep going. Never mind. That strand's gone. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like if we just put in the quarterback, and then we're going to have the other talents should be about the same. I mean, maybe not defensively. I'm worried we will be worse, but I don't think we will be. So if we have Hartman with the rest of the talent that Notre Dame has, I feel like we should be able to at least be in it until the end in all three big games this season.
Yeah. There's no reason you shouldn't be. And the other thing is, man, 83% blue chip rate. That's a big number to me. Keep stacking that kind of talent. I know it hurts that we lost the top end guys to NIL, whatever. I know that hurts, and it does. But if you could keep stacking an 83% blue chip rate, a lot of teams in the country that are going to be eligible to make the playoff, the expanded playoff, they're not going to be able to keep up with that rate of depth. And I just think teams are going to wear out in this new playoff era. A lot of teams are going to make it, be excited for round one, maybe round two. They're going to get beat up and worn down. It's going to become a war of attrition. Quality depth is key. 83% blue chip rate does that. We need to maintain that or better every class.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm excited to see Tommy Reese with like a good high feeling quality quarterback.
Yep. You're gonna finally see it. I mean, see what he has.
If it doesn't work out this year,
Yep. And when it's funny because when Hartman got announced, my initial reaction was, the best thing about this is we're finally going to find out about Tommy Reese, because there isn't the excuse of he doesn't have a guy that can get the ball where it needs to go and run a real offense and expand the route tree and all that. It's all over. It's all over. Let me ask this. This is a good question. Do you expect to see the offense look visually different now? Hartman is the number one passer with the most balls thrown, 25 yards downfield or deeper. That is the opposite of the way Notre Dame plays. Do you expect to be able to see a tangible difference? Do you think you're going to see vertical route trees and crossing routes deep down the middle of the field? And how much is it going to look different, or is it going to look like the same structure, but he's more efficient in it? Do you get what I'm asking? Mm-hmm. Or is it going to look different and more electric and deep passes? What do you think this is going to look like?
I definitely think there'll be more deep passes mixed in, but I don't think we're going to go all like straight vertical routes. I think it'll be a little bit of both. But what excites me about this most, John, is that the team isn't going to know when we're going to run it or like when we're going to pass it, because we've run the ball a lot.
Yep.
With our great offensive line,
man.
But now
damn, you just bring up something else.
What Notre Dame's going to do on them.
You just brought up another good point, man, and it makes sense because you call all season during the season on the morning show, so it does make sense what you're saying. Here's what I've been saying. You got Hartman in here. He's known to be a deep ball passer. That's his thing. That's his deal, right? Love it. Beautiful. Notre Dame needs to get better at that area. Love it. However, Notre Dame cannot give up any level of running the ball physicality to cater to throwing the ball in that way. No. I'm with you. It's not one or the other. It's both. It is, we will run the ball on you, not only when we need to, but also when we want to. And you know what else? We'll also throw it when we want to. You got to be able to do both. But it is a big deal to me. Notre Dame doesn't lose its DNA of physicality because they got a guy that could throw it around. I don't want that. Be physical and tough and be able to throw it around. Do it both.
Yeah. I don't know about I don't think he's BBG, but the one thing my biggest concern is Golden this year.
I can't even, dude, I can't even believe BBG. That guy was the worst coach I've ever seen. I couldn't handle him. It was so bad. It was not even real life. And then Kelly let him stick around. Like, it's one thing to make, dude, it's one thing to make the mistake of hiring Uncle Rico. But the fact that you kept that guy around another year, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, man.
There's some days I just had to look. Some games I've just had to look away. Like I'll listen to it. I cannot look at this defense.
Oh man, it was just a riot. So I don't know, man. I'm. Let me ask this too. Maybe I'm being a jerk, and I know I have high standards, but do you agree with me that next year Notre Dame does not have any free Marshall Stanford type deals? Do you agree with me? That needed to be, if it was ever going to happen, a one-time first year transition period injured quarterback dynamic. That can't happen again. You can't have that anymore. You cannot lose games you shouldn't lose anymore. It's over. He had his 1 year leeway. I'm not open to it anymore. You can't have any more of them games. None. Zero.
I'm fine with a slow start against Navy just to get the chemistry going between the new players.
Hey, you could start slow all you want, but win the game. You could start slow all you want, win the game. You can start slow. It could be ugly. I don't care. Win the game. Win the game. You know what else too? Duke, Louisville, in between Ohio State. I'm looking at the schedule right now. You have Ohio State. Then you have Duke away, Louisville away, USC. That's a tough little stretch. You got Ohio State, Duke away, our old guy, Mike Elko. That's going to be a tough ball game. And then Louisville, you know what Louisville is going to do at their place. Night game, blackout, make it a big deal. That place gets loud if you let them. That's a tough stretch there in the middle of that schedule. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just win those games, man.
Yep. I don't care what they look like when you're in a tough, when you have a 2-week stretch of these road games between two of your biggest marquee games. I'm not even looking for style points. Get through it and win it and move on. But both of those are tough. Mike Elko's doing a damn good job at Duke. They're trending up, same record as us last year. And Louisville's just a pain in the ass. When you play them away and it's a night game, pain in the ass. I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah. Do you think that Braum will make them like already a better team than they were under Shirefield? I mean, we should win anyway.
Yeah, we should. And forgive me for overlooking it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's why I circled these games as traps. Because think about it, man. Duke, Louisville, Pitt, Wake, those are all just games on the schedule to us. We want to win and get through. To all those teams, it's their Super Bowl. It's just a totally different mindset. We're their Super Bowl. Everybody I name, we're the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, if Kelly can win those games Freeman will be able to win those games.
God,
I'm
God,
pretty
man,
confident.
listen, you know what's messed up? I've been asked this a million times. John, if Kelly was here, would Notre Dame have lost the 2 dumb games they lost this year to Marshall and Stanford? My answer is no. Kelly got good at grinding out those ugly games and finding a way to win them by like 6 points or something. So no, I believe Kelly would have won those games. But I also believe, big picture, Notre Dame was never getting further than they already have gotten under Kelly, so it wouldn't have mattered anyways. And in that way, think about it intellectually. He did a good way of grinding out those games, but also he didn't recruit well enough and develop well enough. There was never any high side available, even if you won those games. So you're in the same spot when in the Camping World Bowl anyways. So I don't know, man. Freeman's different. Freeman's got a little something to him. He's got a little magic. He's got a little touch. He's got a little bit of that getting more out of the group than should be possible to him. And I just hope year 2, I just hope there's a big jump. They always talk about week 1 to week 2. What about year 1 to year 2? Should we expect a big jump?
I mean, I feel like we should with like with Hartman and the new transfers coming in. I mean, I feel like we should get a jump.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah, it's.
But I'm just hopeful.
You know what I'm excited for? I'm excited to get about 2 to 3 years from where we're at right now. All right, I really want to get there because we'll have the roster completely flipped. It'll be all a Marcus Freeman roster. You won't have to deal with any of the Kelly-ness that's left over. That's what I'm excited for. And then that lines up with the new playoff. So I think that's going to be great. Nick Dean, thanks for the $10 holler. Appreciate it very much.
What do you think about, I just got this breaking news. What do you think about Laurinaitis going back to Ohio State?
You know what? I saw that. Somebody sent that to me right before I went live. Somebody sent that to me. It's intriguing. Is it not that he was like an Ohio State guy and Freeman's an Ohio State guy, and then like they're all buddies, and it was just kind of like I don't know what to make of it. Maybe he just wanted to go back to Ohio State. It's not even like he was an official coach in his capacity. I don't know. Does it matter or not? I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to go back home.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't even like a coach.
Any of the linebackers.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully this doesn't ruin Snead or any of the other guys.
You know what? I think those guys are athletic enough and talented enough. My biggest question is not ruining them. My question is, you're going to give them a chance to play. Like, I want some of these young athletic guys with speed to go out there and just be able to react and make plays and not overthink everything and overanalyze it until the play's behind you. That's what I want. So I don't know, man. It's interesting, but I don't know. Thanks for the call, my friend. I want you to have a good weekend.
You too, John. Take it easy.
You take it easy, my friend. Enjoy it. Have a good one. Oh, boy. All right, folks. I know nobody wants to hear it, but I have some life to actually do, and the show's gone 2 hours. That's going to be it for today. It's going to be it for today. I got things to do. I can't go 3.5 hours every time. And I feel bad because I do have a full bank of callers. I just have stuff to do. We've gone 2 hours. And I feel bad about that, but I just can't go on forever when I have stuff to take care of. 2 hours is a nice fat show. Pat, one more call, only if it's your wife. I'm serious. Tell your, all right. Fine. Mark, you're on. Last call of the day. I'm doing it. Mark, you're on.
Oh,
Mark, you're on. I'm giving you, listen, Mark, If I give Pat time, I got to give you time. The floor is yours, my friend.
know,
I'm
right?
fair. I'm fair. The floor is yours.
It's only fair, and my name was brought up, so it's only fair for me to rebuttal, correct?
Yep. Beautiful. So this is what this is
Okay.
for, and it's beautiful, and I love it, and I'm going to let you rip. Let it go.
Okay, need some background first. I'm 36, Middle Missouri, and Notre Dame fan since 98. So I joined the call a little in the middle of Pat when he was talking about not joining a conference. And so I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but I think the easiest path is for us to join a conference. That's just my opinion. I see us winning the ACC or Big Ten, whatever. I don't care what it is. I see us winning that game and getting a first round bye. Not, ACC 9 times out of 10, Big Ten at least half the time against Ohio State or whoever it may be. Where am I wrong?
All right, one question is, if you said it's an easier path, maybe that's the problem intellectually a lot of people have, is the feeling that Notre Dame would be cheaping out on an easier path. And traditionally that doesn't feel right. Like you even said, it'd be an easier path and you could win that. I think a lot of people feel like if you go the conference way, it isn't going to be as genuine if you end up winning a title. The statue's still going to be the same, but will it feel the same if you theoretically cut that corner? Does that make sense?
It does, and I totally understand that.
But it isn't going to be
I'd
the
rather win a
ACC,
national
Mark.
championship.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Okay,
but it
fair
ain't going to
enough.
be. That's the
Fair
number
enough.
one thing. It isn't going to be that's done. No. It isn't going to be the ACC. Like Notre Dame already has partial
enough.
regrets. They're in this half-ass agreement with them. The ACC is in big trouble. If we join, we're only talking about the Big Ten. I'm not even entertaining the weak ACC. So we're only dealing with the Big Ten. Let me say to you this. What would you say if I tell you we don't need that? We could be independent, do it our way, lose our 2 biggest games in the year, make the playoff, and still have a chance. So why do I need that?
I totally agree with you. That's still an option. I just think that, in my personal opinion, I just think that it's an easier road to win a conference championship game, which I totally believe that we can.
And then get the bye.
Whatever conference it
Yeah,
is,
and then get the bye.
and get a first round bye.
Yeah. Like I'm not arguing that I'm not arguing that it's not easier. I just feel that Notre
But
Dame's
some people are hung up that, we're just going to sell out and not play any of our rivals anymore. But I just want to win a national championship. I
Right.
don't care who we play. I just want to win a natty.
yeah, and
I
it's
don't-
it's all going to count the same in
Being
the
from
books.
Missouri,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
being
and
from Missouri, when Mizzou left for the Big 12 to join the SEC, everyone here was in a pissy fit because we weren't playing Kansas anymore. And now, after a decade of Mizzou being in the SEC, no one gives a shit about Kansas anymore in this state.
yeah, time
It's
goes on, you
times
move on.
change.
Yeah,
Rivals
yeah.
change.
Yeah, and
now
now-
you make new rivals.
Man, I'm telling you though,
You can
listen,
you can still schedule USC in a non-conference game too.
if they join a conference, they're going to join the same one USC's in, so you avoid that problem to begin with. I'm telling you,
Okay, so let's join the Big Ten and beat the shit out of Big Ten.
the ACC's just not, it's not viable. Like they're on life support. Their TV deal is so restrictive. It is they're in dangerous territory. They're poison. So we're not joining them. Listen, man.
I only said ACC because we dominated them the past, 6-7 years.
Yeah.
So I get that you're not for the ACC and it's not going to happen. I was just throwing it out there that we could dominate ACC championship every year.
Now,
if you're saying Big Ten, I'm all for that too.
God, let me give you this though. If we were talking about the Big Ten, Notre Dame would have a rivalry game almost every single week. Think about it. You would have,
that'd be awesome.
you would have,
I think we could win a Big Ten championship.
Man, look at where Notre Dame is, even geographically. You got, you're Northwestern, okay? And then you have Wisconsin right there. And then you have Indiana, you have Purdue. Then you have the state of Michigan. You have the rivalry with Michigan and Michigan State. Oh, by the way, you could go all the way out east, and then you got Penn State. Like, dude, there is a lot. And Ohio State, like, it would be rivalry games almost every week, and I would enjoy that. But I'd love it a lot more if Notre Dame stayed independent, had a tough road, and ended up winning anyways. So we could say, look at this. We did it our way and still won.
And I totally understand that. It's just, I think the times are changing to where it I don't know. It just doesn't hold a lot of weight for me anymore. I just want to win. I just want to win a championship. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't care how we do it.
And you know what else, man? Like, some people, even me at times, have said, if you joined a conference, it wouldn't feel as good or whatever. You know damn well if we win that championship, we're all popping bottles. It'd be the best day of our lives. I mean, I'm admitting that. I know it would be, but I still do want to prove that we could do it our way and do it right and with morals and trying to have those values and be independent and do it. Like, I do want that.
Yep. But for people to say, like Pat, to say that I'm not a real Notre Dame fan because I have a different opinion, I don't respect that at all.
Well, listen, you
apologize later in the chat, but
Pat, listen. What you're experiencing is what everybody experiences. It's called Pat's personality. So don't take it personally. Listen, I've known the guy 20 years. It's the way he is. Don't take it personally. That's the way he is.
Fan I am because I get a lot of shit from my friends and even family members for being a Notre Dame fan. So I don't need it from other Notre Dame fans as well.
Yeah, I know. And also, don't blame me because my friend gave you a hard time. I can't control everything these people say. Like, by proxy, I don't want to get it. I don't want to get in trouble because by proxy. But I don't know, man. Oh, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. This is kind of a thread over the night. Ohio State, USC, Clemson game. You can only get one win. What's most important to you?
In the chat, I think Ohio State is the one I'm picking just because it has more, I don't know, prestige nationally, and people respect Ohio State currently more than all those other teams, I think. So I'm picking Ohio State.
And you know what? That's pretty reasonable. Like you could make the historical argument for SC, but you are right. They are the most recent team that's won they've won a recent championship. They're going to be ranked really high, recruiting very well. You're right. And where it falls in the schedule, 4 winnable games, then them at home in late September. That win, if it was a win, could set Notre Dame up for a big playoff run with Sam Hartman. And then if you get in a playoff run like that, that should help recruiting. And then you're kind of off to the races. So I respect your opinion on that. I really do. And the other thing, man, is too, Notre Dame fans are so spread out across the country and the world. It doesn't surprise me that so many different people think and feel differently about all these dynamics because we're not just Nebraska fans and we all live in Nebraska and we all think the same and we're all in Nebraska and everything's the same. Everybody's spread out. It's okay to have different ideas. I want us to talk about it.
Yep.
So, Mark, I don't know. It's going to be exciting here. Do you think Freeman's a guy to lead Notre Dame into the modern era? How are you feeling about him overall?
No, for sure. I wouldn't have anybody else behind the wheel but him right now. Yep.
I'm telling you, man, I don't know how to explain it, but he gives me a feeling like a Lou. He gives me like a Lou type feeling. Go ahead.
Story for you about Freeman. My wife is from Hannibal, Missouri, and Hannibal, Missouri is the home of 2024 running back recruit Aeneas Williams. Okay. My wife's family is family friends with one of his coaches. Okay. And so we were in town a couple weeks ago, ran into him. I won't say his name for anonymity's sake, but I talked to him about Aeneas a little bit. And the scoop is that Aeneas was recruited hard. I mean hard by Mizzou, almost to the point where it was like sickening, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But Freeman, what he said about Freeman is that he got to know Aeneas personally, and that really hit home with him.
Yep.
It was really the difference maker.
It's a big difference.
Yep.
And you know what else too? You will hear that with, I've gotten to know Brennan Vernon's family, Brennan Vernon's parents and I've gotten to know them and meet them. And so I kind of have their opinion from Brennan being recruited and all that. And the one thing they said is, of all the coaches recruiting him, he was the one that knew Brennan the most, wanted to know him as a guy, not as a player, not even as a student, as a person. They said he wanted to get to know all about him as a person, and it makes all the difference. I'm telling you, that is the vibe that works at Notre Dame. That is the message and the vibe that works at Notre Dame. The Vans shoes. Brennan Vernon wears the Vans shoes. The whole staff showed up to recruit him. They're all wearing Vans shoes to show that they recognize that that's his thing. All those little things make a difference, and you are getting none of them out of Swamp Thing.
Yep. It's the common denominator with all these recruits. They all have the same story, that Freeman just wants to know you as a person, and that's the lure, right?
Yep. And it's genuine. It's not an act. It's not an act. That is genuine as the day is long. That guy just cares. Like, he just cares, and he wants to know everybody. Yep. And listen, man, I don't know. You're in Missouri. Did you go to a game last year? When's the last game you've been to at Notre Dame?
I haven't been. Honestly, John, I haven't been to a game since 2013, which was the last game with natural grass. Just because with family and young kids,
you should have grabbed you should have grabbed a chunk of turf and brought it with you if they weren't going to use it anymore. If that was the game, you should have chopped that shit out, brought it home.
In the tunnel the day before, and I picked up a small chunk of grass there, and it's like, this is the last grass that's going to be on this field. And my wife just stared at me.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you know what I did?
Well, they were selling that. They were selling that turf.
Sure, you know what I did? We might have to end the show on this. This might be the most depressing thing to end the show on. I literally grabbed a piece of Notre Dame turf after I thought the Bush Push game was over and we rushed the field. I grabbed a chunk of it. I grabbed a chunk to save, to memorialize that amazing event. And then they put more time on the clock and we lost. And on the way out, I threw it in the garbage. I threw it in the garbage and stomped out. The hell with it. I don't want it anymore. And I threw it in the garbage and I left.
Yeah,
I left. I couldn't handle it, man. I thought I had a piece of history. I told my dad, I'm shoving this in my pocket, threw it in the garbage. But listen, man, honestly, though.
No, we want to get to a game. We want to get to a game next season. Totally intend to go to one. We wanted to go this year on my birthday, but it didn't happen. Other things happened, and I totally want to go next season, though.
Yeah, I'm telling you, where I was going with that question is when I came to blue and gold last year, which would have been Freeman's first, go around, it felt different. Campus felt different. The vibe felt different. Like, I feel Notre Dame. Like I'm there a lot. I feel Notre Dame. It was a different feel for blue and gold. It was more open, more laid back, more relaxed, more like you do your thing, but we're all in it together, like less stuffy. There was just an energetic, more open vibe. Them bringing back all these old players and inviting them. You can feel the difference. Then that's blue and gold. Then I come back for Clemson. I mean, I was there for some other games that are not important. I don't even want to get into, but you come back for Clemson, you could feel it, man. You feel it in the air. It's different with him. It's just different. He
Yep.
gets it. It's a different vibe, and you can't manufacture it. You can't learn it. You can't develop it. He's naturally got the gift of a little bit of Lou and a little bit of Era in him and a little bit of Frankie in him. And I love all that.
Yeah. And that's kind of the reason why I want to go back there so bad and see and catch a game, because after the first couple of seasons when I went to Kelly game, it was like, oh, this is kind of, not so good. But now Freeman's totally changing the vibe, and I want to get up there ASAP,
I'm telling you,
It
man,
didn't happen last year.
it's a lot less stuffy. It is. Team programs over time take on the personality of their coach. And with Kelly, I'm sorry, it was fine. It wasn't awful, but there was no excitement going on. Things are a little stale. It all feels different. Make your way up and you will feel a different vibe.
I'll try to, and I'll hit you up if I'm up there.
Oh, please do, for sure, man. I'm always for that. Let me know, and I try and meet up with people whenever I can. Anything else you want to say? I wanted to give you a full free reign to say what you need to say. If Pat went out, I want to be fair, give you that.
Nope, we're good. We're good, Pat.
Yeah, and just know, like Pat offends everybody. Like that's his personality, is to offend a lot of people. And even Angela Rudiger wrote in there, you should see what he said to me in the past. I can verify that. Like that's just kind of the way he is. But here's the thing, man. At the end of the day, we all love Notre Dame and we're on the same side. That's the biggest point.
That's right.
Thanks a lot for the call, Mark.
Just like you said.
Yep. Mark, I appreciate you, man. Have a good one. And let me know if you're going to make it up for a game. We'll see what we can do. Hook it up.
Let's go play 9 holes. How about that?
Oh, now you're talking my language. Pat likes to golf. Maybe you guys can fight it out on the golf course. Let's go. Oh,
there you go.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Have a good one. Take care.
I too played high school golf.
Did you? So did I, man. High school golf was fun. So did I, man. I was too skinny to play football. I played high school golf. It was fun, man. A lot of long rounds though. Some of those 9-hole rounds took a long time, but it was fun.
All right, man. Catch you later.
Have a good one. Take care. Oh boy. All right, folks. 2.5 hours. That's going to be it. I'm sorry. I got real life things to do. Thanks for everybody for being here. All the donations, all you guys. I appreciate all of you. We're all one big Notre Dame family. That's what it's all about. The blue and gold game's definitely going to be lit. It really is going to be lit. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of excited for the blue and gold game. And that's odd and rare, but I'm genuinely excited. Sam Hartman on one side, Buckner on the other. Yeah, I'm going to be there for that. I also want all of you to come and we'll all party together and tailgate. All right, I got to go. Got some things to do. 2.5 hours. You guys take care. Pat, you're always stirring things up. I love you for it, man. Never change. Rudy, everybody, love you guys. Take care.